Um, Hello to any familiar faces and anyone we met at Business Bash. Thank you so much for coming out here on Zoom and in person. I know it's a rainy day, so we appreciate it. And today we have Honeywell speaking. So let's get started. Just to introduce myself, I'm Emily Bally. I'm a third-year business and history major minoring in women's studies, and I'm president of Florida Women in Business. And basically, Fwib's mission is to be a professional development organization that gives women of all backgrounds the tools to succeed and break down barriers in college and beyond. You've probably heard this blurb if I've said it to you before, but our whole goal is just creating a safe space for girls in the business college because we know it can be intimidating. Our pillars are community, leadership, and personal development. So with community, we host socials and events just like this, where you guys get to interact and socialize. Leadership, we have committees and chair opportunities that will lead to e-board positions eventually. And personal development, we do professional development workshops and all that good stuff. So yeah, community is this month's pillar. Join a committee. So this semester, committees will be in person. They are at 6:15 right before GBMs, and there's marketing, finance, community service, and sustainability. And here you just get more insight into what those e-board members do and kind of help them make decisions and give them any suggestions or anything that you want to see. General announcements. So the rest of our GBMs will be held in Heavener 140. We only have this room for today. So from here on out, if you're coming in person, we'll probably send out a lot of reminders. They will be in Heavener 140. Next, chair applications will be released at the next GBM, which is February 8th. There's chair positions in internal development, finance, marketing, community service, and professional development. And here you get to work under an e-board member and kind of help them out with any tasks that they need and get more insight into their position if that's something you're interested in. And tomorrow will be at Warrington Wednesday tomorrow. Yes, I just said that. From 10:30 to 11:30 in the Hebner Courtyards. We'll be tabling with Enactus, Student Finance Group, and FLA. So come get some breakfast. Talk to us if you have any questions or just want to hang out. And lastly, follow us on LinkedIn.
Hello, everyone. My name is this working? Okay, my name is Ellie. I'm the secretary of Fwib. I'm a second year information systems major, and I'm also minoring in computer science. So for points, showing up to meetings and then committee meetings and all of our other socials and activities are what lets you get like the gold status and silver, which make you eligible to run for e-board, which is happening in March. So keep that in mind for showing up and trying to be more active. And then also the top 3 point earners get prizes with, so we had them last semester and this semester. So thank you.
All right, hey guys, my name's Sophia. I am the historian for Fwib, and I'm second year information systems major, minoring in leadership. And our slides. So you can scan this QR code if you're not in the GroupMe already. We pretty much post everything. If you don't find it on the Instagram, which is also on the next slide over, and that's what I run, like that's my job. So if you see that, that's me. DM me if you have any questions, connect with us, and then next slide. Same thing with the Facebook page. It's also just another platform where we post events and some way to get community. And next to that is our website, just fwibuf.com. And last but not least, use code FWIB for StudyEdge. It doesn't cost you any money, but it helps your using StudyEdge give us money so that we can plan events and fun things. Super easy.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsay Liu. I'm a fourth year marketing major with a minor in professional selling. So I am the VP of marketing for Fwib. So I kind of just get the word out about Fwib, kind of recruit different members and get a lot of different merch. So if you see any like pens or like pins around campus, that's because of like the marketing committee and like all of us who are putting work into that. So join the committee. It's only 15 minutes before GBMs. I know a few of us showed up today, so thank you guys, and hopefully we can make this a great semester. We also sell t-shirts like the ones up there. If you want one, you get points for it. So like Ellie was talking about before, You can get points to run for e-board and just maybe be a top point earner and get some really cool prizes. So text me or like message me on GroupMe or literally anything if you want a shirt or if you just need anything else. So thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Contorno. I'm a second-year finance major and I'm also the vice president of finance for Fwib. So some announcements that I have for you. Our Savings in the Swamp event is going to be happening this semester on March 25th. I know that's a long ways away, but I just wanted to go over that it's a financial literacy event open to everyone at the University of Florida. You don't have to be female and you do not have to be in the business school to attend. Basically, we're going to have some companies come and present, and they're just going to go over basic concepts like getting into investing, planning for retirement, stuff like that. My committee and I will be working on the topics and getting everything set up, but it's going to be a really cool event. Tell your friends, tell your roommates, whoever it may be. So I'm so excited for that. My committee and I will be planning that. Also, we're having a headshot and name tag fundraiser. So similar to what we did last year where we had them individually, this year we're going to have them combined. So if you order a headshot and a name tag, you can get them for like a reduced price. It's $1 off, but you can come pick up your name tag and then take your headshot right after. So we're gonna have, if you scan that QR code on the screen, you can go ahead and sign up and like pick your time for your headshot, all that fun stuff. And also, I know this is redundant, but join the finance committee. We're gonna be going over future fundraisers, planning savings in the swamp, all of that fun stuff. So you don't wanna miss out if you're interested. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Madison. I'm the VP of Community Service, and I'm also a second-year marketing major, minoring in retailing and family, youth, and community sciences. And that's a mouthful. So for community service announcements, our first in-person event is going to be on February 8th from 5 to 6:15. It's going to be right before our GBM number 2, so look out for that. And we're going to be doing Valentine's Day cards for Shands Children's Hospital, which is super exciting. And also that's going to be combined with one of our socials, so that's something to look forward to. And then also join the community service committee, and there's a GroupMe code up there. Kind of like all the other committees, it's a great way to get involved. And also if you're looking to be a committee chair, it's a great way to get started on that. So thank you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany. I'm a third-year business admin major, specializing in minoring in sociology, also pursuing a combined degree in Masters of International Business, so reach out to me if you're interested in that. Some upcoming professional development announcements. So same thing, we have our Fwib headshot and name tag fundraiser that closes this Thursday. That's the QR code to either order a name tag or headshot or both. Some upcoming opportunities is there's a UBS investment banking recruitment ready series that's starting this Thursday. There's also scholarships from Stout Global Investment Banking and Women in Business and Diverse Emerging Leaders for $3,000 each. And there's also Warrington Career Week and Career Showcase that's happening all this week. So all of this is also on our Facebook, but definitely screenshot this so you have it in your reminders and look out for them.
Hi guys, my name is Denise Beavers. I'm Vice President of Internal Development. I am a third year with Business Administration and I'm specializing in event management. I plan all of our events as well as run our mentor-mentee program. So before we talk about our mentor-mentee applications, I'm going to talk about our events. So some of the events we're looking to do this semester is like a painting social, yoga, Among Us, and we're also having our friendship bracelet social February 8th at 5 o'clock. And once said before, we're doing that with the card making. And then our mentor-mentee applications are now open. If you were in the program last semester and did not complete the Google form sent in the GroupMe, please fill it out by tonight. If you do not fill out that form, you will be removed from the program. And then we will be changing the program a little bit this semester. We're going to be having 3 mandatory checkpoint meetings, and our first meeting will be on February 16th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. And here are the links to applications. All right, so today for our Fwibtivity, we're going to be playing Fwib Bingo. So I've passed out a little sheets. Everyone online, I've sent it in the group me, and so you'll be able to download it onto your phone. Zoom will be splitting you into 2 breakout rooms, and in person, you guys can just mingle and find people on your bingo sheets. You can also take a picture before you go out to your breakout rooms.
To talk to us about their company and also introduce about their community and their perspective about community. So now I will pass it on to Candy.
Okay, and I'm going to try to not use that because I talk really loud. Can everybody hear me? And online too? Or does that really mess you up? Yeah. I use my hands a lot and it's problematic. Okay, so I'm going to talk really, really fast tonight because I normally take a little bit more time. So I'm just doing this from rote memory of how many times I've done this presentation, and I'm going to make it faster. And so what we're going to do tonight, we're here representing the finance development program at Honeywell. But for all of you that are not finance or accounting, there are 13 other programs at Honeywell. We have future IT leaders, future HR leaders, lots of different programs, future sales, lots of different programs. So they're very, very similar. I'd say about 75%, if not more than that. So just assume the finance program works like all of the others. And that is not, that is not letting me move. So I'm going to do it in this view, and that's going to be okay. So we're going to go through introductions, tell you a little bit about Honeywell. Anyone ever heard of Honeywell before? No, what we do? Oh, this is a very educated crowd. Okay, I'm not going to hold my normal phone and talk about that, but we'll talk about it real quick. Talk a little bit about the Honeywell culture, because any position that you want to find and any career that you want to have, culture is a big part of your decision. So I want to talk a little bit about what that means at Honeywell. Talk about our student programs and what we have for students. Then we're going to add something in there to tie into your theme of community and what that means to Honeywell. Right, so we have 3 major areas at Honeywell where community is a big part of what we do, and I think that is the Ffl community that we create within the finance development program. It's the Honeywell internal employee community that we have, and a lot of employee resource groups that we have. So I'll talk about a little bit about that. And then Honeywell in our specific communities of where we operate and do business and what that means to us and how we participate in our communities. And then hopefully we'll open it up for questions at the end, and I like to leave more time than that. So I'm going to talk really, really fast, so bear with me. Oh, introductions, real quick. So I'm Candy Pools. I've been with Honeywell over 20 years. If you look that up on LinkedIn, it's probably longer than most of you have been alive. So don't look that up and don't do the math. I have an accounting degree and an MBA, and my first 12 years at Honeywell, I was lucky enough to have 10 different positions within finance and accounting. Why does this do this? Right now. So I did cost accounting, I did general accounting. I was lucky enough to be able to add another skill set to my toolbox, if you will, and that's leadership and management positions. So I started managing and leading in those different positions, and then moved on to like business analysis and planning, and then was actually CFO for a couple of our major customers. You might have heard of Bombardier or Airbus before. All the while I was doing my regular finance and accounting roles, I was hiring a lot of people. So I helped develop the program that we have today for our finance development program. This year, it's 20 years in existence, so a big mile marker for us. But early career programs are important at Honeywell. Within the finance program, we know what we're doing. We're very good at it. And I have many folks at Honeywell that are vice presidents and senior directors and senior managers and managers that have been through this program. So it's a great resource and community for those FFLs at Honeywell.
All right, hi guys, I'm Ashley Kelly. I'm a senior here at UF, finance undergrad, and in the MIB program. And I interned last summer with the finance program she's talking about, the Future Finance Leaders program, specifically in the Sustainable Technology Solutions part of Universal Oil Products.
And I'm Broden. I graduated with a degree in finance 4 years ago, and over the course of that 4 years, I've worked in 3 different states and held 3 different roles. My first role was in Minnesota, and I held an accounting role. For the second one, I was supply chain finance, and that was in Virginia. And then for my third role, I'm currently at the global headquarters in Charlotte, supporting basically our financial planning analysis at a global view for one of our businesses. So kind of an accelerated career path very early on in the career.
Okay, and now I'm going to walk through our Honeywell overview real quick. For those of you that aren't aware, Honeywell is a $35 billion Fortune 100 company. We like to call ourselves a global manufacturing, software, industrial, multi-industrial company, whatever buzzword you want to use there. What multi-industrial means is that we have 4 major strategic business groups. Aerospace, so if you've ever flown commercially, Honeywell has got you there. Our building technologies, which is probably helping the building management systems here at University of Florida, and lots of other big buildings. We just built our corporate headquarters in Charlotte, and I just visited there because it's not my home location. We have facial identification to get me in the building to my floor. All I have to do is push a button on the elevator. It knows exactly where to take me and where I'm allowed to go. And so really cool technologies for buildings. Performance materials and technologies, that's where Ashley was and Broden did his second rotation in. That's kind of our oil and refinery business, but we do really cool things there. A lot of fibers that go into vests, fishing line. Just learned that today from Broden when he was talking about his experience. They're also making jet fuel out of mustard seeds, which I think is really cool and above anything I can kind of think about. Safety and Productivity Solutions is where Broden works today. His little Honeywell mask is from there. That's a lot of worker safety. We also have our warehouse management system. So if you get an Amazon package delivered to you, that's Honeywell helping Amazon get you that package. If you went to Publix this morning or any Starbucks and got a coffee, the little scanner they use probably says Honeywell. Just look on the side of there. That's our scanning technology. So that's Honeywell. And then we have a 5th strategic business group that is our Honeywell Connected Enterprise. That's our software business. So we have all of this technology and all of these patents and all of this stuff that we have at Honeywell, and that our Honeywell Connected Enterprise connects that amongst all our strategic business groups and helps us bring better products to market. So that's Honeywell Multi-Industrial in a nutshell. I could just talk about that for at least an hour, but 1 minute does really, really well. So the next is our behaviors, right? So I think this speaks to our culture at Honeywell. So twice a year we get a formal mid-year review and an annual review. And when we get that, they say, Candies have a passion for winning. Does she exceed at that? Is she standard at that, or is she below standard at that? I get graded on every single one of these, as do these. Ashley was graded on that in her internship and, talked about how she did throughout the behaviors. So when you think about the behaviors, I'm not going to read all of these, I'm just going to go real quick. Have a passion for winning. That's a really cool thing to be graded against on an annual basis, if you ask me. Be a zealot for growth. Think big, then make it happen. Act with urgency. Honeywell's culture, first and foremost, is a performance-based culture. We care all about Honeywell culture, Honeywell performance, and we care all about individual performance. So I like to say we work with a bunch of really smart people that just want to make you smarter every day. And I can tell you at 20-some years with Honeywell, I feel that burn every single day. And it's probably why I'm still there, and I love it, right? Be committed, be courageous. My favorite, right? Like, I get to be courageous. I have a hard time saying that every time. Courageous on a daily basis. And you know what? I'm expected to be. And that's great. As an intern, when you come in, you're expected to sit at the table with the CFO and give your ideas. That's our culture. Next up, become your best and build exceptional talent. What we're doing here today. Broden has a full-time job. He took a week off to come here to University of Florida, and he's building exceptional talent. So it's something that is important to us. You can't do anything without great people, and with great people, you can do everything. And we feel that to our core at Honeywell. So that's kind of our culture. What we have for students on campus. Within all our functions at Honeywell, so whether you're supply chain or IT or human resources or whatever you're studying, we have our global internship program. That's where we bring in 1,000 interns globally every year, right? A lot of them are STEM, right? We have a big engineering presence. 13 early career programs. So our Future Finance Leaders program is just one of those. And what you see, those little boxes, is our designed MOS around that. So for every single internship, this is given to us by our, the leadership of our organization. They need an assigned buddy. They get a formal performance review, visibility as a senior leadership. They learn from industry experts and ongoing feedback throughout this, their project and their summer. So that's everywhere at Honeywell and identical for all. Our FFL intern program, so that's our finance program, is 10 weeks over the summer. It's accounting and finance across 4 different locations. It's a paid internship, and we offer housing in a non-COVID world. If you get to move, we pay the housing, so we're hoping to get back to that for 2022. And you lead a project, so you're given one big project or a couple mid-sized projects. You start, you finish, you present out to leadership, and we implement whatever you do. So it's not easy. You're not following somebody around. You're not doing a lot of busy work. You're driving a project to completion, and we're going to hurt your brain and make you work for it a little bit, right? It's a little bit overwhelming to start.
Yes.
Yes, but she got through it, and she was fine. While doing that, you have a lot of feedback and guidance, right? So we want to make sure that you're on track to give us the results at the end of the summer. So that is something that we partner with you with. A big portion of that is not just the technical learning that you have, but it is the culture learning, like exposure to Honeywell itself and the people, and the learning series you get like on behaviors. What's behaviors? Leadership, communication, executive presence, everything you can't learn in a textbook. That's just as critically important at Honeywell as the technical piece, almost more important. You're going to excel above your peers based on your behaviors, not your technical ability. We can teach everybody the technical, right? And you come from University of Florida, so you do great anyway. We get great students from here. So there's a lot, an FFL peer group that you have 80 folks across the United States that are really close to your experience level, that become a network for you to leverage to say, hey, what does this mean? Or you've worked on this before, how do I get there? Or, hey, let's just have fun, right? So with that, there's a lot of business and leadership events. So those 5 strategic business groups I told you about, all of those CEOs come in and talk just to the interns and present their business. We also have the VP of HR come in and talk and talk about human resources. So exposure to the leadership at Honeywell. And then we also do a lot of social events. So just like you, and I was talking to Emily before this about Zoom fatigue, right? Like I've done everything over Zoom from a networking event, and Ashley got to experience that. But we've played bingo. We have. We've done trivia. We've done mocktail hours. We've done every single thing possible. Hopefully we don't have to do that in 2022, but we're ready if we need to. But that helps get you connected to that, community of FFLs and gets exposure to leadership, all of those different events through our intern series. That leads into our full-time program. So most of our internships, the primary reason, all of them, our CEO says it, right, is to, you like us, we like you, that leads to a full-time position, right? So that leads to our full-time Future Finance Leaders program. Again, finance, but all the functions work very similarly. We have 300 early career program hires annually, 350 plus in STEM programs, so that's our engineering, and again, 13 early career programs. Those little boxes at the top, again, defined management operating system for bringing people in the door and getting them acquainted with Honeywell. What that means from an experience perspective for finance is we have a rotational program, and most of the early career programs are rotational in nature, where you get to see a different aspect of Honeywell. So for finance and accounting folks, we look for you in the summer before you're ready to graduate, right? Because we want you to like us and us to like you and start full time. An accounting or finance undergrad or master's. You have to have one of those for the finance program. And then we take you through 3 rotational experiences, just like Broden said he went through. Now, what Broden experienced is different than his 15 other peers that are at the same time as him, because we have that infrastructure within Honeywell that you can, we can do all of that. It's a big company, right? And nobody has the exact same formula or the exact same path at Honeywell. So it's 1 accounting rotation, 1 finance rotation, and 1 specialty rotation. I like to call the specialty rotation as accounting and finance as a byproduct, because again, what are we working there? The primary focus in your 3rd rotation is behaviors, leadership, executive presence, communication, influencing, team building. all of the stuff that you've been working on in your first couple of rotations just kind of get amped up in your third rotation. And you're getting an accounting and finance, but really working on that. That specialty rotation could be investor relations, could be treasury, could be corporate audit. So if you want to audit but not forever and you want to travel the world, you can travel 75% of the time with corporate audit. People either say yes to that or absolutely not to that, right? And that's a big commitment. So, but it appeals to quite a few of you. We also have commercial finance jobs, right? So where you're supporting a strategic business group like Broden's doing, you're supporting a product, a customer, our supply chain organization, our engineering organization or functions. So, I mean, again, that specialty rotation could be one of 40 different choices, if not more than that. I'm just guessing. Really meant to be the building blocks to create CFOs. And that's what our finance development program does. When you do that, we want you to get diverse business experience. So we want you to move along those SBGs, just like Broden has, and get different experience. So you can see an aerospace long cycle business, an aircraft engine that we developed in 1972 is still out there flying today. Don't be scared, it's very reliable. But that's a long cycle business, and how your head thinks about a business like that is very different than a burn and turn mask where I can get you that product in 2 days and out the door, right? So that's a short cycle business. We want you to see that, and we want you to get that difference. Giving you that diverse experience makes Honeywell stronger. So that's what we really try to do. With that, we make you move. So if there's anyone that doesn't want to move, or like I find this a lot at Florida, anybody from Miami? Yeah, if your heart belongs in Miami, and I know it does, I have to go there. I have to understand why. But if your heart belongs in Miami, we are not the right fit for you. It's good for you to be here and good for you to hear about, so you know that, but that's a great question for you to ask. What geographies are you in? And some people really want to move around, like Broden. He's just ready to move on to the next one, or not. And you don't have to move continually for that, but our leadership, our CFO, believes that if you move early on and get the benefits, like Broden's met some really great people at all 3 of his different locations, and you understand that value to yourself personally and professionally, when that big CFO job comes later, you'll say yes. And that's why we do it, right? We also, same as our internship, but a little bit more amped up and 4.5 years long. We work on personal development, a lot of leadership, networking, education. So there's formal training classes. The peer group gets a little bigger here because we add that FFL grad community. For those out there, we try to get everybody together annually because we want them to do a little finance learning, a little business learning, a little behavioral learning, and then networking. We just go have fun because, you know, Broden meeting his peers from Arizona is a great experience for him, and he can learn and grow through that. And we absolutely have a blast in person. We can't wait. Virtually, it was okay. We did it. And lots of finance leadership team interaction. The FFL brand is strong at Honeywell. When Broden graduates here in August, I can say Broden is graduating in August, or I can just say I have an FFL grad graduating in August, and everybody will want them just the same, right? And that's how strong our brand is at Honeywell. So it's managed by you to meet your career goals aligned with our business need. And that's our development program. And that's very similar to how our IT program works, our supply chain program works, our HR program works, our sales program works. I could go on 13 times. These are the different geographies the finance program is in, and that we ask you to be open to, right? So you see Florida's not on there. Sorry, nothing in Miami. If I could get there, I would love to visit. But that, you know, put that up there. Our 4 major hubs, Charlotte, Phoenix, Houston, and Atlanta, and that's where those 4 business groups are headquartered, and that's why those are the biggest, right? So now I want to talk a little bit about that community that we talked about. And I'm gonna, so 3 different areas that community means at Honeywell. That is our FFL community, and Ashley's gonna talk about what that meant to her from an internship perspective. Broden's gonna talk about the communities that Honeywell's in and what that means for Honeywell. And then I'll talk a little bit about our employee resource groups, which is our community for our employees at Honeywell. So.
Yeah, so first I can talk about the FFL community, which is what Candy's kind of mentioned a few times. So there's 80 people that are kind of going through the same program as you, whether they're on their first rotation, second rotation, or third rotation, or the other interns. And I always tell people that this was like the most valuable part of my internship, or what really makes me like want to go back to Honeywell and really excited about working there, is like the other people that are in the FFL program and being able to have that network over the summer. Just being able to network with the other interns, people that were on their other rotations, was super valuable.
They had like for us as interns, like every few weeks we'd have like different networking events to get to meet specific groups of the other FFLs, and also you're paired with a mentor for your whole internship program. And so all summer, constantly I was asking my mentor for help, or even asking my fellow interns' mentors for help. And so it was a super helpful community to have while I was interning.
And I think for Broden, it's meant something different, right? He's moved 3 times. So when he moved to Charlotte, he walked in and had 15 other people, 10 other people maybe, that were an instant community for him. That he could say, hey, where do you play basketball? Hey, where do you work out? Where do you live? And go hang out and meet friends of friends. And I think that's been valuable, and I hear that more than anything. Okay, now Honeywell and communities.
Awesome. So Honeywell is a globally recognized and Fortune 100 company. So within a global brand, you have a lot of small individual local communities. So in Charlotte, our most recent news is that we moved our headquarters there, which is fantastic. So as part of that, we've donated $2 million to small businesses, and our CFO leads disbursements of that. In India, we have a large finance network hub, and what we've done there is basically the safe water network. In Georgia, one of our other headquarters is in Atlanta. So what we've done there at Georgia Tech is we lead the STEM leadership program. And as part of our humanitarian relief fund, we've also donated $24.2 million across the globe in efforts to help relief of earthquakes, flooding, fires, and so on.
So I'm going to talk last about what Honeywell means for our employees, and I talk a lot about this, and this is, not new for us, but, driving a culture of inclusion and diversity is very important for every company these days, and you're hearing a lot about that. What that means for us is a lot of these different partnerships, right? More importantly, for our employees and FFLs, and I send this out to them, we have employee resource groups, employee networks, and they're all listed here, and you can choose to join them, meet people, attend events, get mentors. I am in each one of these groups. Do I self-identify with every single one? No, but it's a valuable experience for me as a people leader to understand this and it to be part of my toolkit, right? So I'm a part of all of this. I recommend it all the time and send out all kinds of stuff to the FFLs all the time that they should. It's another great touch point within Honeywell for them to get connected and feel part of that Honeywell community. So that's what Honeywell community means at Honeywell. Very different for all of those different circumstances. We have this. So any finance accounting majors, if you're looking for an internship or a full-time job and you meet the requirements, if you want to scan this, we just added these QR codes. I couldn't be more excited because I've seen them at Florida for years. But that will take you direct to the finance and accounting roles that we have available. That is closing, and we're actually going to interview Thursday, Friday. So if you're interested, be quick about it, right? Come talk to me after. I'll make sure you get on the list. And that is a little bit different than you're not going to get any points or anything. It's just going to guide you to information. I also have some flyers up here with some of that information that I just gave you. If you're finance and accounting and you want to get more information, come and talk to us. And otherwise, if you are not finance or accounting, you can go to honeywell.com/careers. You can find all those other disciplines and what roles they have available. So I would highly recommend you go out to our careers page and do that. So that's really fast, and I'm 20 minutes in. So darn, I'm 5 minutes over. We'll answer any questions that you have on anything that you have. Happy to do it. Sure.
Are the deadlines for the other programs also Friday?
We are here interviewing in person Thursday, Friday, so the deadline for that applying is like tonight, tomorrow at the latest. For the other functions, I don't know their exact timeline. If they're posted out there on careers page, when you apply, a recruiter will reach out and they'll go through their typical deadline. Our deadline is because we're here in person and we're going to be interviewing in person. So I don't think that it would have that same thing. I will be at many schools throughout February. So we're still hiring from a finance perspective too, but it's always better to see you in person. We'd much rather do that. Mm-hmm. Sure.
I would love to know, going back to those 8 behaviors, I know you said they do the evaluations to see how they've improved. So I'm kind of wondering what, on your guys' side, what behavior you've improved on the most and like how the internship helps you with that.
Yeah, sure. I can talk about that. Also, like they tell us what the 8 behaviors are at the very beginning of our internship. We had like a whole little like presentation on them and like what we're supposed to be kind of striving towards for the summer. So that was helpful. And the one that I would say specifically is be courageous. Like in the very beginning of my internship, I did a lot of like
like talking to salespeople and reaching out to like people that were much older than me, and I was like really scared in the beginning to do that, and like especially if I really needed something from someone, like if there was like a deadline that like my boss really needed, I would be scared to like push one of those like older, more senior people and tell them like what we really needed. But as like the summer went on, I got a lot more confident in being able to know like what me and my boss needed and being able to communicate that, and gained a lot of confidence throughout the summer for sure.
And I just think coming from school, I think be courageous, like it resonates with everyone because you come from an area where you're not supposed to fail. You know, you can't do that. You got to pass. You got to get the A. You got to get to B. You got to get through the system, and then you got to apply to kind of companies that are coming in the door. But to be courageous enough to really kind of put yourself out there, you're going to attempt crazy things. I mean, right now in my global view, I'm presenting to a CFO basically every single day. This is a person who manages a $1 billion business throughout the globe, and I'm 4 years into my career. So you got to be courageous to basically have a seat at the table. You have a voice there too, and you can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to basically get criticism when maybe you're not the best at something and kind of work on yourself and navigate that. Being courageous is just kind of taking that step forward and seeing what happens, and then you take another step and maybe take one back and you continue on that path. I think that's the best thing coming out of school.
Sure.
Are there any other opportunities that you're offering, maybe for younger students, such as freshmen or sophomores, anything such as programs, meeting, maybe even Zoom calls that we can kind of participate on to get involved beforehand?
I have a really bad answer for that. No. So I mean, when we come here, we're at a lot of presentations. Like we have a full blast of like 12 events this year. Talked to a lot of students at the career fair today. I say just keep coming and seeing us. That's from a Honeywell perspective. Like, so I mean, some students, I say they're stalking me, right? And I love it. I love everything about it because I see them all the time. But what you can do, what can you physically do to help you get an edge when you get there? I think finding a job is a part-time job, right? Yeah, school's a full-time job, but once you get to, sophomore year, junior year, it's a part-time job, and it should be, right? You don't want to be my daughter. I torture her all the time with this. But it should be. So what you can do is your resume, right? Tell me why you're different than the person sitting next to you. And how you do that is get a reasonable GPA, right? Like, I don't want to see a 4.0 if you've done nothing else. Sorry, I know books are great, but can you talk to people? I don't know that by just seeing a 4.0. So reasonably good grades, and I'm like looking at a resume here. Reasonable good activities, right? So find a club that you love and get on the e-board. That shows leadership, right? It shows communication. It shows that you've got uncomfortable and you grew, right? You don't have to do that in a student group and an e-board. I talked to the manager at Chick-fil-A last time I was here. Fantastic, because she has leadership, communication, ambiguous situations, change. She's dealing with people all day long. Love all of that. So find something that exhibits that, right? And you can do that as a hostess. Love hostesses. Love athletes, right? Bartenders, great, because they're dealing with a lot of people issues. And the technical stuff, again, is important, but more is those behaviors. And I couldn't tell you, I had a student ask me in one of our other presentations, like, what would you recommend I do? Take a communications class, whatever you can. Get uncomfortable. If you have to write 15 essays, I know that's terrible, but do it, because you're going to get better at writing, and it's a critical skill. And IT classes, right? Like if you're in finance or accounting, or probably anywhere, if you're the person that can take the data and make it, smarter, better, and tell the story faster than the person sitting next to you, you also have an edge. So if I see any techie stuff on a resume, top of the pile. If I see any leadership, top of the pile. And remember, I get hundreds of resumes. So I knew I was bad for that. I pass on a lot of different things, but leadership. I want to see leadership. I want to see, challenge, all of that. So you can work on your resume at Chick-fil-A as a hostess, and make it stronger, and then start stalking the companies that you want, right? In a good way, right? So, hey, Candy, saw you at Women in Business. Nice to see you again. Really liked what you had to say. I'm a junior. I'm ready, right? Or I'm still a sophomore, but wanted to stop by and say hi. I'll remember. Hopefully, I'll remember. But you just saying you saw me before, that resonates with us, right? I saw your presentation and you said this, and I really liked it. That's how you can connect with recruiters. And it doesn't have to be Honeywell job is working on your resume. It's going to career fairs, events like this, connecting with recruiters, and then it's that interview skills and getting good at that and making sure. So that's the part-time job that gets you the job. So I would work all of those things. Going to a career fair is intimidating for some people, unless you're brilliant and you can talk to anybody anywhere about anything, right? Like I'm not like that. So I tell students, go to the career fair, start with companies you don't know or you know you don't want, right? Because it's going to warm you up, right? You have to get uncomfortable to grow. And then get to the ones that you want and you'll get better at it every single time. And if you're a freshman or a sophomore, I saw freshmen and sophomores there today. I said kudos to you for coming, but they're getting good at it, right? They're watching people, they're observing people, they're learning by talking what people are looking for. So when it really counts, they're gonna knock it out of the park.
I know you're talking about what community means to Honeywell, but I read on your website that you guys provide financial resources and support to different causes around the world, or around the around the world. And also, I heard that you guys encourage employee volunteerism. So I was wondering if you could expand on that a little bit.
Sure. So we do a lot, like in where I'm at. I'm in Arizona. We've done Habitat for Humanity as a group, and that's a big one at Honeywell. Like you can sign up for that all day long. It's a partnership that we have. When we were in person with our interns, we were trying to do a volunteer community there. So we've done like in Arizona, I don't know if you have it here, like St. Mary's Food Bank. We go pack bags, right? I've done Feed My Starving Children. Don't know if you have that here. It's a team building activity, and it's giving back to your community. So that's just a couple examples. I went and painted a homeless shelter for mothers, right? So it really is tied to your local hub and what you can do in there, the differences, but there's lots of different opportunities like that. It's very important for us to be tied to the communities that we're in. Okay, well, I think we're out of time, and we'll hang around if anyone wants to speak to us specifically.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's get back to 1 second. Okay. Anything in the chat? Okay. All right. So our next meeting will be in Hebner 140. I've kind of just. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. Next meeting, February 8th in Hebner 140, and our next speaker is Aldi. Stay after. Talk to Candy if you have any more questions. She'll be hanging around here. And here's a sign in if you didn't get it at the beginning of the meeting. Thank you so much for coming, everybody.
The social is right before that meeting, right?
Yes, the social, the friendship bracelet, and the card making social is right before our next meeting. So, yay. Thank you all for coming.